I suck at everything when it comes to effects. It got pretty embarrassing, so I studied the way that San Holo, Guy Lawrence from Disclosure, and Mk.gee use effects, and I was surprised that they all shared one thing in common. They start simple and end epic. They start with the most fundamental sound possible, like a saw wave or a clean guitar, and then add effects, usually just a handful, until they get a strong signature sound. Let me show you what I mean. For all these demos, I'm going to use a multi-effects plugin that I've been falling in love with called Hex FX from Serato. It's filled with over 45 high-quality effects, very tasteful presets, and is perfect for subtle tweaks to full-on chaos. You can try it out for 1 month free, along with the rest of the Serato Producer Suite, which includes Serato Studio and Sample, using the promo code here in the description. When studying San Holo, I found a live stream where he broke down his classic guitar sound, which you often hear in Album 1. I was expecting a lot of audio wizardry, but it couldn't be simpler. It's a great example of starting simple and ending epic. Start off with a simple, clean guitar with no amp and no cab. Now let's bring up Hex FX. Before I add in any effects, I'll shape the tone a little with the filter and tone knob in the channel strip down here. That tone feels a lot better. Time to add some effects. The workflow is very straightforward. Just load up effects in any of these 6 effect slots. We'll start with adding a clean compressor. Especially if you're recording a real guitar directly into your DAW, you'll want to use one. We'll want to make sure we're taming our dynamics, so we'll click the params button to tweak the settings. Nice. Now we'll add in the most important effect for a San Holo sound, the vinyl sim effect. In San's livestream, he mentioned how he would constantly bend the guitar's neck while playing, and it got kind of annoying, so he figured that he should just use a plugin to recreate that, and that's exactly what vinyl sim does. We don't want to go heavy-handed with this. Remember, this is supposed to replicate a guitar player bending the neck, so we just need a little bit of wow, a tiny bit of warp, and that's it. Lastly, we'll put on a plate reverb with a low mix and some decay here. And that's how you get San Holo's guitar sound. But let's take it a step further. Something else San Holo likes to do is add on a bit crusher, so we'll add in the lo-fi crusher. I adjusted the settings so that it's just kissing the guitar. I still need it to sound like a guitar, so after some tweaking, this is where I ended up. And I want to shave off a little of that brittle digitalness from the highs, so again, we'll adjust the filter down here to shave off some more highs to bring back some warmth. Let's hear a big before and after. So we started simple with that clean guitar and allowed a handful of effects to completely transform it. And I think the hardest thing about this is believing that a simple, even plain sound can end up being great. Of course, it takes experience and experimentation, but I hope you learned that sometimes you don't have to start with something inspiring. Instead, let effects take it there. Now let's look at a more complex effect chain. Guy Lawrence from Disclosure is such a beast when it comes to production. His sound design is so tasty, and lucky for us, he created a handful of presets inside of Hex FX. His synth preset is such a masterclass. With it, you can transform a plain saw wave into a thick, wide, dense sound. First, start off with a sawtooth. It can be from any synth. Then we'll start making it sound wide and thick, so we'll throw a couple of chorus effects on there. We'll place the chorus effect in the first slot and the quad chorus in the second slot. I'll play it and tweak some of the controls until it sounds dialed in. Sweet. From here, Guy Lawrence gives it a harmonic boost with the tape saturation effect. Nice, that really brings it to life. We pretty much have our sound. By doubling down on the chorus and pumping up the harmonics with that tape saturation, we transformed a boring sawtooth into an infectious signature sound. Now the finishing touch is adding our spatial effects with the ping pong delay and plate reverb. The ping pong delay has a very low mix at 8th notes. We want to feel it more than hear it. And for the plate reverb, once again, low mix, but we'll max out the character knobs here. Great, sounds so good. and this kind of effect is perfect to use with the hex style. It might look like a big dry wet knob, but it's a lot more than that. It's a macro control for various FX parameters across all effects. You'll see that as I turn the big hex dial, controls, they are changing all across my effects. Each effect also has their own dial that will modulate the parameters within that effect. This makes it great for automation, transitions, or just dialing in a sound. So I'll play my track again in context and see how far we should take this. I like the knob right around there. That feels really good. And what's cool is that when I first heard this sound, I never would have thought that it started with a saw wave. I could have sworn that it was 3 different kinds of waves stacked together, held tight with all kinds of LFO and envelope modulation, but it's not. In this case, effects are key, not synthesis. Oh, and fun fact, if you open up the artist presets, you can find this effect chain in the Theta Synth Vibe preset. All right, now let's look at our last example here, Mk.gee. He's known for unique baritone guitar tones, and I want to show you how hex effects can do a lot of what guitar pedals can do. And when it comes to starting simple and ending epic, I think this example really shows the transforming power of effects. This time we start with a clean electric baritone. Just like with our San Holo example, there's low end I like to tame, so I'll just take a little off with the filter and then turn up the tone knob. It still needs to feel like a baritone, but it's too boomy right now. And what we hear a lot of in Mk.gee's guitars are modulation effects. So we'll start with a flanger, and we want this flanger to make the guitar sound moody and brooding. So I pretty much maxed out the depth, gave it a slower rate. So the flanger is intense but slow, which just feels really brooding to me. Next I added the hex compressor. It's a more intense compressor, but I like the body that it gives the guitar. I dropped the mix on it so it kind of feels like parallel compression. To increase the intensity, we'll throw in a smooth drive. We really want to walk the line of it being too much. I want it to feel like at any moment it will start to break up. Yeah, something like that. And right now this isn't feeling thick enough, so we'll add on another quad chorus. Great, that's exactly what I wanted. One cool thing with hex effects is that even though these effects looks like they're locked in place, we can click and drag to reorder them. I want to see what happens when I swap the flanger and quad chorus. Alright, it's subtle, but I think it sounds a little juicier this way. Now let's finish this with some pitch reverb to give this guitar more color. That sounds really nice. But one thing I noticed in Mk.gee's work, similar to San Holo, is that he likes to add some subtle analog detune to his guitar. So I'll open up another hex effects and use a little preset I made. It's super simple. It's just a vinyl sim paired with tape saturation. They work really nice together to make it feel a little more cassette-y. Yeah, really nice. Here's a before and after of both effect chains. I love how that sounds, and I would say this is a more complex single chain because there are multiple effect ideas happening here. It's modulated with flanger and chorus, but it's pushing it to the edge with saturation, but it also sounds like it was recorded off a cassette. It's kind of like a stew that's been developing for hours. If you're new to audio effects, going for complex effect chains is a great place to aim, but don't expect to get there out the gate. It's okay to start simple. Look at San Holo's effects. It's super simple, but highly effective. And please, pardon the pun. The more I learn from artists, the more I find that many great sounds have a simple beginning, and it's the effects that make it memorable. If you want to try Hex FX free for 1 month, along with the rest of the Serato Producer Suite, which includes Serato Studio and Sample, go ahead and use my promo code found here and in the description below. Serato Studio and Sample are so insane, you'll really want to check it out. I'll see you in the next one. Later.